Can you buy a decent gaming system from Costco? A video idea that definitely wasn't stolen from the comment section of a Linus Tech Tips video. So after I very originally came up with this idea myself, I went onto Costco's website to find that they don't have much of a gaming PC selection. However, they do have these HP branded gaming setups in a box. So it's not just the PC, but you get like the monitor and everything else that you need to get started. Now I'm gonna be honest here, going off the picture on the side of the box, it doesn't look very promising. It kind of looks like e-waste, the gaming setup, but you know, I'm always ready to be proved wrong. However, before we get into this box, it's time for today's video sponsor that made all of this possible.
Today's video is sponsored by Audible. You all know Audible, that place you go if you want all the books in your brain, but you don't have time to actually sit and read a physical book. Audible has one of the largest selections of audiobooks around, ranging from bestsellers and new releases to celebrity memoirs, business motivation, and binge-worthy podcasts. I'd recommend checking out George Orwell's 1984, narrated by Simon Preble, who's such an amazing narrator, it's a borderline erotic experience. If you become an Audible member today, you will get 1 credit every month for any title in their entire premium selection. You will also get full access to their Plus catalog, which is filled with thousands of audiobooks, original content, all of which you can download and listen to whenever you want. If this sounds good to you, visit audible.com/Dawid or text Dawid to 500 500 to get a 30-day free trial period. Thank you Audible for sponsoring today's video. That is one monolithic box. Now the system at the heart of this setup in a box is the HP Pavilion Gaming pre-built, which has actually been very positively reviewed by many other tech YouTubers. Although I'm gonna wait to see for myself because I'm still haunted by the memory of my previous OEM pre-built videos. Single channel RAM, overheating, user nitro cell, proprietary garbage. So hopefully you'll be the one that breaks the trend, little HP. With that, let's get into this setup in a box. Wow, it really seems like this is gonna destroy my life to try and pull this stuff out of this box. Wow, this display actually makes a lot of sense to use with the system that you get in this bundle. It's a 24-inch display that has an IPS 1080p panel that has a 75Hz refresh rate with FreeSync. This may actually not be a complete dumpster fire. And then here is the keyboard and the gaming PC. What a beauty. Animalistic lust personified in a PC. Look at all that front I/O. On the side, we've got some ventilation that works in conjunction with an exhaust fan. And then up here, we have some interestingly placed audio jacks. I guess that's for improved ergonomics. We've got some more USB ports with Ethernet, and then the video outs for the graphics card. And then finally, a power supply. No way. HP, I think I may want your babies. This budget HP pre-built from Costco actually has dual channel RAM in it. I don't care what you're doing now, drop it and go and buy one of these to show HP your support. I don't care if you have to mortgage your kids or whatever, but that is unprecedented. And then, if you move over to the heatsink fan, it may actually on first impression look like that standard crap that you get with every other pre-built. But if you look a bit closer, there is actually more fin stack going on there. So this may actually be able to properly cool the 10400F that's underneath there. When it comes to the power delivery on the motherboard, positive thoughts, so we're going to move on to the next thing, the power supply. This has a 310 watt 80 plus gold rated power supply, which is not the worst thing ever, but there's not much headroom for a significantly more powerful graphics card. Now, in terms of the graphics card, we have a GTX 1650 Super with what's hopefully a good enough heatsink on it. And this is actually going to be a very good pairing with that 75Hz 1080p monitor that we had a look at earlier. And then deep in the annals of the computer, we have a 500 gig NVMe SSD. So with that complete revelation, let's close this bad boy up and have a closer look at the monitor. In here we have the world's cutest power brick. Look at how tiny that is. An HDMI cable and a power cable. And then we have a monitor base that looks like it's been bent out of some paper clips. And then finally, the monitor. This display is so thin, it looks like it has an eating disorder. Look at that. One pretty big downside to this monitor is the fact that it doesn't have a VESA mount on the back, which means there's no way to get around that little loser stand. And there it is in all its tiny glory. That stand is not ideal. It's so close to the desk, and there's not much that you can do about it other than actually put the monitor on something. So with that, let's get the whole gaming setup set up and then do some gaming. Now, first things first, we're going to fire the system up and see how diseased it is. But the first thing that you notice when you sit down in front of this setup is just how small all of it is. What is this, a gaming setup for ants? These peripherals are some of the worst I've ever used. I don't know what Shenzhen dumpster they dug these out of, but they are real bad. But anyway, over here we have a very wholesome, family-friendly background. And then in terms of disease, there is some. We've got bookings.com, Dropbox, LastPass is on here, and McAfee, there we go. The only way that they can get any customers is by having them not know that it's on their pre-built. It's not the worst I've ever seen. It's not Acer level, but it's still not great. So I'm gonna try out the gaming setup for the first time, and well, there's already a pretty large omission here. There's no headphones or speakers, so we're not going to have any sound today. That's okay. Now, another issue is that, well, the monitor is very low down and there's nothing you can do with it. Like, it feels like it's designed to turn you into the Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's actually handling the game very well. Escape from Tarkov usually struggles on lower end systems because, well, RAM is an issue, especially. But because we have 12 gigs of dual channel RAM in here, it's actually doing... Is this space? Is this space? No. It's really hard. Oh, I got him! Look at that! That was a good shot. Okay, no, yeah, that was pretty good. When it comes to gaming performance, the system sits right where it needs to. Even with more demanding titles, you still get that average 75-ish frames per second that it needs to hit to work well with this monitor. And this dual channel 12 gigs of RAM configuration that this HP pre-build has is so good for budget pre-builds. More companies should do this, because 8 gigs of RAM isn't enough anymore in my opinion, and this just gives you that extra bit of headroom. In regards to temperatures, the CPU is very much under control, although the graphics card is just skirting with worrying temperatures. That's not ideal, especially considering the fact that the ambient temperature at the time was 20 degrees Celsius-ish, which is on the lower end of room temperature. So yeah, in a hotter climate, that graphics card is going to start to struggle with temperatures a bit. The gaming experience on this setup was very pleasant, aside from the horrible peripherals which
often didn't register keystrokes and stuff like that. So if you want to play like Fortnite or Rainbow Six Siege or Tarkov or whatever, you can't use these peripherals. They're going to get you killed a lot. And then there's also the problem of the ergonomics of the monitor, although there are a couple of ways around this. The first one is just putting it on a box, which means that your eye line lifts up, you sit straighter, and then you don't have to hideously disfigure yourself while gaming. The other way around it is if you turn the PC on its side and then put the monitor on the PC. So that gives you that like retro monitor on the PC look, and it very much helps with your posture while gaming. So you could always do that. Which neatly brings me to the conclusion. Should you go out to a Costco and buy one of these gaming setups in a box? Well, it depends on who you are, really. If you're an enthusiast that wants to upgrade your system and do some tinkering and stuff like that, no, you shouldn't buy it. But you already knew that, right? You're not watching this video for a recommendation on the system. It's still got a bunch of proprietary crap in it, which does limit its future upgradability and tinkering potential. However, if you're a parent looking for a gaming setup for your kids who want to get into Fortnite or whatever, you can do a hell of a lot worse than this one. But there are a couple of things you need to bear in mind. First, please reinstall Windows on it to purge all of the plague that HP pre-installs on these systems. I have a video linked in the description below that'll show you how to do that. And then finally, the mouse and keyboard. Don't make your kids game with that peripheral setup. It's one of the worst I've seen included with a pre-built, and that's saying quite a lot. It's not good for gaming with. So take it, responsibly recycle it, and get something better so that your kids don't get pawned on the internet. And with that, next week I'm doing a video on the cheapest gaming system I could find on AliExpress. So that should be a real roller coaster of emotions. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see that video, and until the next video, thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.